Hey YouTube, it's Andreas again. I just am doing part 2 of my draft system setup video. Part 1 I covered most of the installation minus the tubing and the connections. And in this update, I don't really go over the connections and the tubing so much because it's pretty straightforward. You know, you just heat up the ends, connect them to the barbs, and then put little clamps on them. You know, I thought it'd make for some boring video, so I thought instead I would just show the finished product. Well, mostly finished. I still have a few loose ends to tie up, but I thought I would show you what it looks like. All right, so as you can see, we have the first keg hooked up. I am still going to hook up the one behind it. Right now there's just cold water in it. I don't have a second beer ready to go, so I don't want to put that in the system and have it, have the system pressurize it until it's totally ready to serve. But this first one with my Yerba Mate IPA is hooked up. I've got a 10-foot length of vinyl tubing for the serving line. I know it's a little bit long, but from all that I've read, they recommend starting around 10 feet and then kind of cutting it down because, you're trying to balance foam with the shorter lines and the slow pour with a longer line. So you want to find that balance from what I've read. So that's why I went with a 10-foot length. And in the coming days, I'm going to kind of reduce that and really tweak the system. But the gas is hooked up. I can show you that right here. Pretty straightforward again. I've got both of the lines connected. This one's turned off right now because I'm not using it. But the other one I'm serving it right around 6 to 7 psi, which works really well. It's a 20-pound CO2 tank. It should last me a good long while. And then on this side, again, it's pretty straightforward. Here, let me grab a flashlight so I can show you a little bit better. But yeah, as you can see, we've got the two taps connected. I'm going to run some sort of insulation to these lines because I don't want them sitting out. It doesn't get really warm back here, but I don't want that beer sitting for a couple days unrefrigerated without insulation, so I'm going to figure out something for that. The only thing left to do back here is to just take this insulation and this breaker bar that I used as a hammer off and reconnect the insulation as best I can, and then kind of tape that all up so it looks a little bit better for the landlords. But yeah, that's pretty much it, honestly. The system is operational. I'll go outside into the kitchen now and show you what the tap looks like, but it's pretty much complete back here. All right, and here is the taps in the kitchen. I just whittled a little piece of pine for that one handle. It looks not too great right now, but it was kind of late at night and I just wanted to add a little something more rustic. So I just found that on the property and kind of whittled it up and stuck it on. It works all right, but the system works completely fine. Let me see if I can show you what the pour looks like. So yeah, it's a little bit slow, but really not too bad at all. And the head looks really good. As you can see. So yeah, I'm super psyched with it. I think I might tweak the system a little bit, but as you can see, the pour isn't very slow, and the head looks really, really good and is completely reasonable. So I might just call it good. I don't know if I just lucked out on my first try, but I'm pretty psyched for that. So yeah, that's my system. Like I said, it's pretty straightforward. Nothing too fancy to it, but I just thought I would show you you know, what it looks like. And if you have any questions, leave a comment down below. You can PM me, and I'd be happy to answer it as best I can. I mean, like I said, I'm a pretty new home brewer, so I don't really have the experience of it, but you know, I've given it a shot, so I've got some idea. So yeah, as far as things that I might redo or do differently if I had to do it again, probably the biggest was to get the correct diameter wood bit when I'm drilling the holes for the tap shanks. The one that I got was a little bit too small. I can't really explain why. I didn't even measure it. I actually bought the bit before I got the shank, so I didn't measure it. I just went to the store and looked at their bits and saw that that one looked like what I thought it looked like in the photo, which was a bad idea. But what I ended up doing was just drilling the hole and then using a saw to cut it a little bit wider. So it wasn't the worst thing ever, but it definitely was kind of a pain to do that, and it was something that if I would have gotten the right size, I could have just drilled it, you know, in one go and called it good after, you know, 5 seconds or whatever. So the other thing I might do, I don't want to say think it through, but kind of gather the supplies virtually first. Because as I did with my girlfriend and I, we just kind of bought the pieces as we thought of them, and what that led to was the regulator having a 3/8 inch barb, the quick disconnects being a 1/4 inch barb, and then having to figure out the tubing, which, you know, the serving line was 3/16 inch, and the gas line was 5/16 inch, as you know, both of those are kind of medium. So that was kind of rough to figure that out. But once I got some clamps that really tightened down pretty tight, everything's airtight and the beer doesn't leak or anything. But yeah, you know, I would definitely look into the pre-made systems that are out there. I think it might save you some money. You know, you could almost save money. I don't want to say or guarantee anything, but you could almost save money by buying one of those kits, and then say if you need a dual pressure regulator like I decided to buy, you could sell the regulator that's included on Craigslist and make some money back, and then buy the dual regulator, and I think you still would come out on top, because we spent quite a lot of money on it. You know, I don't want to go into details, but it was quite a lot. I know we got a 20-pound CO2 tank instead of a 5-pound, and a dual pressure regulator instead of a single one. But I think just those little tiny things that we thought we would need and later found out that we either didn't need them, or we could get away with something else, or it wasn't the right one, I think would have saved us money in the end. So if I had to do that again, I probably would have bought a kit from one of the many homebrew supply stores, and just gotten the dual pressure regulator, you know, because the lines already have the quick disconnects, they already have the clamps, they already have the tubing, and that just, you know, would have been a lot easier than trying to piece it together ourselves and going to Home Depot and not finding any tubing and not finding the correct clamps, and having to go back and return them. So, you know, if I were you, I would recommend looking into those and finding one that's as close to what you want to build as possible, and then build from that, would be my suggestion. So yeah, that's honestly about it. A bigger bit for the wood brace, and, you know, maybe a pre-built system. I mean, I'm super happy to have the experience of building it myself, but like I said, I probably could have saved $100 or $2. I don't know if it would be $200, but, you know, maybe $100 or $150 from all the things that I had to remedy. So yeah, thanks for watching. Again, if you have any questions, please let me know either in the comments, or like I said, PM me, and I will answer them as quick as I can. So thanks. I don't know if I'll do a Homebrew Wednesday video this week, but but I might, because I've got my hops outside are growing, and I'd like to take some video of those because they look pretty cool. So thanks for watching. Have a good evening. I guess if I post this, well, probably I'll post it some other time. So evening, morning, afternoon, whatever. Thanks, cheers, have a good day, evening, afternoon.